fire here on the Cleveland Guardians because I am seriously disappointed by the fact that they did nothing. It was a very active last 24 hours of the trade deadline. The Yankees got better. The Astros got better. The first place Minnesota Twins got better, but the Guardians were just a game out before yesterday. Did nothing, guys. Made one minor league trade, made no additions. We can't even call this. I mean, this is a nothing trade. It's it's two random minor leaguers who will be cut in another week. The Guardians sat on their hands, guys. I could rant about this forever, but anybody have any initial thoughts on this before I go off?
Well, before you go off, I think we have a take.
Well, I alluded to it yesterday. So if you look around MLB this season, who you say is the heavy favorite to win it all? Who would you say? Yankees.
I don't think there's one heavy favorite. I'd say it's the Yankees, the Astros, and the Dodgers, and now the Padres.
Okay, boom.
Are the heavier.
So you named four.
Yeah.
Guardians really don't have a chance this year anyway.
I don't agree with that.
Make the playoffs, that's great, but winning it all, not likely. You can say that.
Well, not likely. Yeah, okay, but nobody is likely. This is not. See, in basketball, you have to have certain caliber of players to win. When the basketball playoffs start, guys, at most there's like 6 teams that can win a title most of the year, and that's a lot some years. We knew when the playoffs started last year that the Cavs had no chance of winning a championship, right? There was no way they were going to win a title as the 8th seed or whatever the hell they were. 0. In the NFL, most teams that make the playoffs can win a Super Bowl, unless you're those random teams that make it with a schlubby quarterback, like you had Tyrod Taylor one year, you had Tim Tebow, you know those teams are not winning. In baseball, anybody can win. The Guardians, Indians at the time, went to the 2016 World Series. And everybody likes to romanticize that team as if it was some great team. They weren't. They were great for a lot of the season, and they were great the next year. But down the stretch of that season and into the playoffs, they weren't a great team because they had a million injuries. They had a great relief pitcher in Andrew Miller, one great starter in Corey Kluber, a good closer in Cody Allen, and a decent lineup.
Sound like what they got now.
Exactly. So nobody's pitching as well. Nobody's pitching as well as Kluber pitched.
Nobody's pitching like Kluber.
But Clase is pitching not quite as well as Miller. So what I'm saying is they beat some better teams along the way, and even though they lost to the Cubs were a much better team. The Cubs were the best team in baseball. They were completely healthy, and the Guardians just ran out of gas in that.
So with that being said,
yes,
if they've done it before, why don't you trust it this time?
Because the team is not good enough, and if they ultimately make it, I'll give them a chance, right? Because if you make it, you get. But I don't think they're good enough to make it with the holes that they have. And they needed to fill those holes, guys. This idea, some fans have been conditioned to believe, well, we got to wait till next year. Let's not spend any money. We don't want to trade any of our prospects. They have a million prospects. I'm not saying trade all of them, but you could have traded some of them to fill some obvious holes.
Well, this is where I take on this. So you've got these. Cleveland's a middle market team. That's what it is. And it is built through stages and steps. I agree with Ty that I don't think they were anywhere close to being a championship caliber team. Could they have made a run a little bit to the playoffs? The division they're in is a weak division. It's a weak division. So I'm taking that into account. But I will say this. I think how Cleveland has success is to get the star players that were floating out here, you'd have to mortgage the future for these people.
See, I don't agree with that.
And I wasn't. When they were talking about Soto, I wouldn't give up nothing for Soto. I would have given up all I had for Soto.
But they weren't going to trade for Soto. No, I'm not talking about trading for Soto.
Here, we're building is a process.
Right.
So if I'm running the team and I don't think that this year is the year, right, I do very little. If I think this thing is set up to come in the following year or the following 2 years.
But you never know, Brad, when it's going to be the year. And in baseball, guys, there's just so many young players you can have. All right? The Guardians' 40-man roster is filled with a good young talent. Okay? At the end of this year, there are going to be – so when you get drafted in baseball, you don't go onto a 40-man roster. There's used to be like 150 minor league players in each franchise. Now it's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 – actually, it used to be like 250. Now it's like 140, 150 because they cut out some of the minor league teams. When you're first drafted, no matter how good you are, you're not on the 40. You're in lower minors. Right. You're not on the 40-man roster. Okay. But after a certain amount of years in the minor leagues, You have to be placed on the 40-man roster, or else another team can take you in what's called the Rule 5 draft that they have every year.
Okay.
So the Guardians 40-man roster is loaded. They have all these good young players. Some teams, like really bad teams, have their 40-man roster filled, but they got 6 or 7 guys who are you can easily get rid of, you don't worry about it. The Guardians don't really have anybody like that. And now they're going to have a bunch of other young players that they're going to have to add to the 40-man roster this offseason.
So why can't
and they're going to risk losing some of these guys for nothing.
So why can't I take these players after the season and package them for something else? Why can't I develop them from now to the end of the season and try to improve improve their market value and then try to package them for something better?
You could have traded, like, this idea that we're blowing up the whole system if we make a trade. If the Guardians probably have 15 really good prospects and probably 6 or 7 that are like seem like they can't miss. First of all, they're going to miss. Guys miss all the time. But you don't have to trade all 15 guys. You don't have to trade all 7 elite prospects. But can you trade one of the 7 elite prospects and then 2 or 3 of the next group? Why not?
Are you going to win with your
trade?
They
could.
Hold on,
you got it. Are we playing to win, G, or not? Do we want to try to win? Let's go.
Let's get, you know how I do. Let's get down to it. You talking about, and I get the linear you're building. You want to build it and you want to go in steps. See,
absolutely.
The thing about baseball is it's not an exact science and it's not a linear progress. The Indians, or the Guardians, the Guardians are within one game. That means you're in contention today, right? You can't say next year, everybody's going to play a bump above, and then we're going to be in that place where we can make a move and do. No. See, baseball, you could be terrible next year. And you could have prospects you thought was good that you can't get a penny for because they're what? Prospects. At the end of the day, this thing boils down to this, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you are, and I always go back to the level of attendance. Even when the Guardians get good and have some sort of level of being some sort of level of contender, you are asking fans to be congratulatory about your thriftiness. No one says, hey, I like that outfit. And you say, hey, you like it much better that I got it for 50 cents at the thrift store? No, they just like the outfit. Stop trying to sell us. Don't sell us how thrifty and great you are getting bottom of the barrel prices and getting good players to turn them into something. The bottom line is the fans don't respect that. Your attendance shows that. So even if you do have a great team, you know what you consistently tell your fans? We not really going all out. We ain't even really trying to win, because if we was really trying to win, you take the team you got with the young players you got, get rid of some of the other guys that ain't going to be about nothing probably in 2-3 years, and go for it now. At the end of the day, if you get in a baseball tournament, you can win it. Bull can give you the list of teams that teams ain't been no good. You be like, wow, they won a World Series? Heck yeah, they won, because you got in the tournament and you got hot at the right time.
To your point, the Nationals and Braves, both in the last few years, have won a World Series in seasons where they were under 500 in July. I mean, so and so you can win it. And the thing is, to me, baseball, as you said, is a great point. It's the most unpredictable sport, right? When you're good in the NBA, when you're a good player in the NFL, unless you're injured, you rarely have huge swings in your performance, right? Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's always great. The great quarterbacks are always great. There's exceptions, but generally, LeBron never has a bad season.
Correct.
Cody Bellinger won Rookie of the Year in the National League. Mm-hmm. Then he won the MVP. Now he sucks for the last 2 years. He's not even average. He's below average. The guy was the Rookie of the Year and then the MVP in the National League. We thought he was going to be a 40-40 guy. He stinks. He stinks now. That doesn't happen in the league, and it's not because of injury.
So the thing is, because I'm on the fence, you know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah.
I see it working both ways, because I'm one of them ones. If you got an opportunity, you only guaranteed this opportunity one time, so you go all out for it. I'm that type of person. But if they only a game out after not making anything with this roster lineup that they've had, they can definitely still get in.
The Yankees, they could, but the Yankees were whatever games they're up in first place. Did they stand pat? The Astros stand pat. Those teams are winning their divisions. They know it,
The Yankees,
and they didn't stand
the Yankees
pat.
are not going to stand pat because they have a chance to win it all. So they would, by definition.
But you can never guarantee.
No, but you can try to better your
The
odds.
Padres, yes, but the
can better your
Padres,
odds.
and remember, San Diego's not L.A., New York, Boston.
No,
It's not a big market.
I saw San Diego here. They're okay. I mean, they pick up Soto.
They went all in.
But they paid the price for
They
Soto.
ain't got
They
no,
did.
they ain't got no
Sure did.
pitching though.
Prospects are cool. Parades are cooler.
That's true.
And your fans,
I stole that from Casey
your
Stern,
fans,
MLB.
your fans will respect you for it.
Yeah.
Jay just did a final take a couple of days ago, and he said, "Guys, come on, support the team, get on out there. They are game back from first place. I know people that are upset that they changed their names from Indians to Guardians, and I don't think it got nothing to do with that. See, this has been baked in for years and years and years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so my thought process is, if you're doing this every single year, you have to not only build a roster, but sometimes in sports you have to build a fan base. And the Guardians have not done enough to build a fan base where their fan base trusts them. That's the reality
right.
of it.
Well,
You're right.
It's trust. They don't trust it. They don't trust
to your
them.
point, you go back and check the history of attendance with this ball club. The only time they really had a good run was that run in the night when they were selling the place out.
Right.
Their attendance is right in line where it has been for lifetime here.
But the difference is, before those 90s teams, the franchise was garbage forever.
You don't have to tell.
They're actually good.
Whereas they've been a very good franchise since
They're
the 90s.
actually good.
Yeah. Right. They've been
They're
competitive
actually-
for most of the last 30
The
years.
problem is the market that we are in. This is not New York. This is not Houston.
Agreed.
Not L.A., right? This
Agreed.
is not, right?
But, Brad, don't you think if they had a consistently higher payroll, not Yankees level?
Yeah, well, yeah. I always believe,
think the attendance would
you
be
spend
better.
a little bit more money. You should.
You're
get-
right. They wouldn't be sold out all the
get better,
time,
right?
but they would have better attendance. If fans didn't think they were always going to lose their stars, attendance would be better.
Yeah,
I think that
I don't disagree with
that
that.
is- that is the
actually.
problem.
That's a big part of it.
Don't disagree.
Mikey McNuggets, what is the internet saying, please, about the Cleveland Guardians and the
Let me tell you
the
real
lack
quick,
of action on the trade deadline?
Internet was asked this question: do you
Yeah.
like the Guardians standing pat, or do you wish they were more aggressive? So let's, before we read the answers, tell you who sponsors this segment.
Please.
And it is our favorites at PCC Airfoils. Let's see if I could read and change at once.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits?
There it is.
PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus get full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers.
There it is.
More.
Everybody's going surfing PCC. Surfing PCC.
I like
All
that.
right.
He gave me a second standards too. I like
you go.
that.
I like it. All right, so let's take the first tag board here. It's just simply our question we asked the internet. The Guardians did not make any major moves. What are your thoughts on that strategy? And we got 4 answers. We got some varied answers, too. So let's punch to the first one, Anthony. Let's take it live here. Don't like it, but this team keeps proving me wrong, so screw it. Let's see what magic we can make in the second half.
Yes, I mean, as a
That's
fan,
where everybody-
fans should not stop rooting for the team, but I think that's a good attitude
Well,
to
that's
have.
been the motto for the past.
Listen, they got a great front office and a great manager. I wish the owner would give them more tools.
I respect that take. I agree.
Agreed.
This is the second one. I'm not mad. This was a tank year anyway. They want to assess the roster and probably get more pieces these next few years.
See, that guy has a loser mentality, and that's unfortunate. We can't have a loser mentality. This was not a tank year. You should never have a tank year. That's bad organization. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Especially in
all cases.
baseball. Especially
Yeah.
in baseball.
Hey, what are you tanking
Well, the
for?
one thing I hear is to take it. The one thing I do agree with is this.
Strike
You
three.
have these pieces. You assemble these pieces.
Yeah.
Now, what do you do with them? How do you parlay that into bigger things, right? I'm packaging things after the season.
Yeah, sure.
Depending on how often, I'm packing some things. I'm
No
going to
doubt.
shake some things around and see if I can get some players here to make a run. Because at some point, I've got to take advantage of all these prospects, the management style.
Right.
Because I don't know if you're getting any more money here,
Yeah.
right? So you got to go out and parlay it.
That's right. They need to do that. They need a couple impact bats.
Boy, you
Yeah.
got to understand that in the city of Cleveland, we haven't really won a lot. So therefore,
Listen,
it's
Tyler,
easy
I
to
get
have-
it.
it's
I
easy.
get it. But look who I grew up rooting for, too. It's not like I grew up rooting for winners.
The sky
I'm a
is
Cubs
falling.
and Bengals fan. Until 2016, my teams had never won a championship. So I know what it's like to be rooting for losers. I get it.
That's why when you say they need to make change. Like people
Yeah.
ain't used to that.
But the Cubs fans come down every day.
Yeah, they do.
Hey, listen,
That's
That's
why
because
it's
of
so
the stadium.
crazy. It's so crazy we got rid of Baker Mayfield because it's like he actually won.
Exactly.
for us.
That's
like,
why
I want to get
we
rid
gotta
of
get
that.
over that.
Like it's
Nah.
the mentality. We got to change the Cleveland
I
mentality.
disagree.
No, I need to go to. I went to. You know what? I went to the dark side. I was a Jedi, and I sat on these councils and talked about what good things we can do, and progress, and pieces, and all this great stuff, and citizenships awards. And then I went over and was looking at the Sith. I saw the Ravens come in here in black uniforms, destroy us. I seen the LA Dodgers come here and buy the whole world. I done seen the Pittsburgh Steelers do it the terrible way. And I say, you know what? I'm Anakin Skywalker. I'm gonna go over here and talk to Palpatine, and I say, you know what? I'm with this whole Sith thing. Y'all seem to be kicking ass and taking names. I want to get on that trade. The only difference between me and Anakin, I'm not about to get my legs cut off and burned alive. I'm gonna do a little more sneakier.
Well, he didn't do that on purpose.
Hey, he
Obi-Wan
got
did
greedy.
it.
He got greedy.
He did get greedy. You're
He
right.
got greedy.
That's fair.
What
Don't mess
else?
with Obi-Wan.
What else?
Mikey, what do you got?
We got 2 more responses. Steve, let's take tag board. This is on the evaluation of it. This year was about evaluation, even though anything can happen once in the playoffs. I'm glad they're sticking to the plan. We can make moves in the offseason.
Yeah, why try to win as much as you can now?
That's Brad's point right there.
We're playing the long game here. What is
How many
wrong
years
with
you gonna
playing
play
the
the
long
long
game?
game?
It's a good point. In baseball,
I've
there's
been here.
prospects, you never know.
I've been on this earth 59 years.
This
We've
is
been playing
not
the long
right
game.
here. This is my point right here.
Hey, nah, we got to go back to the other one.
No.
Could you explain to your just think if you in the room with your wife and you tell her it's 12 o'clock, you like, this is all about evaluation, babe. We not gonna do no action. This is evaluation period right now.
Yeah.
I care about no evaluations.
Exactly, ridiculous.
12
I guess
o'clock at night.
Wait a minute.
the
you
Guardians,
gotta have it.
the Guardians shouldn't do it. Then the Guardians shouldn't do anything this offseason because they're not going to be as good as
But
the
G,
Yankees.
you can't.
Why bother?
Y'all can't
Why
just
bother?
talk. Can't get to know
No,
each
we ain't
other.
talking. No. I know exactly who you are.
Little cuddle
You're a good
section.
person.
That's the
Yeah,
Canton-
exactly.
Cuddle in,
That's the
yeah.
Canton way. I got it.
All right, Mikey, we'll do a little good bet, bad bet, and then get some other camp storylines.
Got to get
right?
it now.
Yeah,
I got
we'll
you,
do
baby.
good bet, bad bet real quick.
Yeah.
Aditi, unfortunately, is unable to
Yeah,
connect.
no Aditi
She's
today.
having some connectivity issues, so
Wait a
she's gonna
minute.
try coming on.
Wait. Before we go, I want to see that last tweet because I need to
Oh,
make
yeah.
that point to
Go
Bull.
ahead. Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah, we can
my
punch it.
point right
Yeah,
there.
I know. But here's the thing. Like, you can't, you're not going to make the team as good as those teams.
So what's the
But
point?
my point, because the better team in baseball doesn't always win more than any other sport.
So you doing it for probability chances that
You
they
playing
can
odds?
potentially.
You playing odds?
You
I'm
rolling-
saying that I want to make, and the Guardians can trade for guys who are not going to be free agents at the end of the year that can still help them beyond this year. All these prospects that everybody's obsessed with, again, you're lucky if half of them pan out.
Okay.
The only
I
trade
get
that
it.
you really wanted was Contreras.
Contreras.
Contreras. Yes. And I think they should have traded for him because they could have gotten him with giving up one good prospect, which was fine. And he is a rental. However, they didn't have to go down that road. Zach Meisel reported they were talking to the A's about Tom Murphy, their catcher, who's got a few more years under his belt. They could have tried to trade for Ian Happ for the Cubs, who's got this year and next year left. There were other options. Yes, Contreras. He wasn't the only guy I was talking about. He was one.
Well, you've got here. You just saw a number.
Believe in Austin Hedges.
A number of tweets there. The fan base is exerting no pressure on the organization.
Some do. We didn't get any of those.
But I mean, you just got a sampling here. I mean,
yeah, the fans, Guardians fans have been conditioned to accept the sometimes mediocrity or the lack of spending because they overachieve often as a team with an excellent front office and manager.
Austin Hedges going yard.
I think what Bull is saying is there's everybody that does this long contrived speech about what they would do if they win the lottery, but never play the lottery. What do we talk? Why would you talk about it then? You can't if you don't play the lottery, you can't get the benefit of winning a lot of money. So pay the lottery, get $1 or so, and
that's what
people
the
will
Browns
come out
did.
and play.
That's what the Browns did.
I like
risk.
G. He'll make $1 million player.
Yes, especially when it go over a certain amount, I'm automatically playing.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
All right, let's get the good
guys,
bet, bad bet, Mikey.
Bull, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Yep.
A tough